it's a little bit after the time we wanted to start. It's about 8:20 p.m. on Friday, September 8th, 2023. See if I can zoom back here. Really can't, but we've got all these boxes kind of stuck in the sitting room here, and actually there's more. You can believe that. There's a smaller box here, and then we've got another box here. So quite a bit, and you can see, of course, one of the boxes is kind of beat up. So we're going to start with the box on the top. Just double check and grab, the box cutter. Of course, my loving cats, the studio cats, might pop in. They like sniffing boxes. They like boxes in general. So the top box actually came from a Goodwill in Throop, Pennsylvania. Had some stuff I wanted them to send to me, and even though I really don't have room for all these boxes, I am trying to save the boxes to send out the extras that we have. We have almost, I think, 300 extras. This is not the first batch of video discs that we've ever received. And pretty cool that they're using recycled cardboard for the packing material. And I'm just going to back the camera up just a little bit so when you do watch the video, somewhat better viewing experience. So yes, recycled cardboard for the packing material. I'll just set this all to the side so that I can get the small pack of discs out. They were good enough to put them in some kind of wrap, because you never know if UPS or the post office is going to leave your discs out in the weather. Which, some story to tell about that when we get down to the much bigger boxes. So let's see. In this bunch we have Dustin Hoffman in Tootsie, which I know we already have in the library, but sometimes you have to get duplicates to get discs you don't have. A Diner, which I'm sure I know we have already. Urban Cowboy with John Travolta. I'm pretty sure I know we have that one. Got a very clean copy of Heartbreakers. The Big Chill, which I know I wanted to watch this one, but we haven't had a chance to spin that up yet. And the one that I was really looking for, because you can't find it anywhere online without paying an arm and leg, is Academy Award winners animated short films. And looks, I mean, the back is a little rough. It does have some markings somewhere on the label, but overall, the caddy, I think, looks pretty good. And we'll have to spin it up and see. And then Clint Eastwood as Dirty Harry in Sudden Impact. Another good film there. So out of those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 discs, we were only after the one. And the shipping and handling, price of the discs, it was kind of a wash, with only the one being one that we wanted to get. So that, neither here nor there. We can go on to the next box, a little bit smaller. If I can figure out where I set the box cutter here. This one came from Illinois. And this one was a series of children's discs. So, not great, but not terrible either. We've got Peter No Tail, Children's Video Library, followed by Dot and the Bunny, which I know this one's in the library already. A Boy Named Charlie Brown. This one was not in the library, so so far that's 2 from this package that we were looking for. The cartoon version of The Wizard of Oz, which I don't believe was in the library. We've also been looking for this. Family Home Entertainment, Gumby Adventure. This is not in the library. We've also been looking for this, and it looks like 2 episodes. And then the last, which I know we already have a copy of, Race for Your Life, Charlie Brown. So this will end up going in the extras. And let's rip open the beat up box. So these came from somebody very special. They had inherited a collection from an RCA engineer, and I'm very thankful to get them and ship them to me. We've actually did a couple of mail calls from them before, and this was the last batch. The the 2 boxes at the bottom came a day ahead, and then this box came. So none of these are in the library. So when you get them out, it won't be like, oh, we've already got it. No, we don't. So this is the RCA edition of Thunderbolt and Lightfoot. This is the one with Jeff Bridges, George Kennedy, and of course Clint Eastwood. Beverly Hills Cop. And to think Eddie Murphy is working on unofficial Beverly Hills Cop 4. Look it up on Wikipedia. Discs 1 and 2. Wow, Clint Eastwood, Telly Savalas, Don Rickles, Carol O'Connor, Donald Sutherland, and Kelly's Heroes. Both parts 1 and 2. Kelly's Heroes. Smokey and the Bandit Part 2. My Tutor. Who stars in here? Karen Kay, Matt Latanzi, Kevin McCarthy, Crispin Glover. Wow. Marty McFly's dad is in this movie. Okay. We've still got quite a few discs in here. And we're going to bring the camera a little bit closer now. Only because trying to record this the way the tripod is set up is a little hard. Okay. So, Neil Simon's Seems Like Old Times. Chevy Chase, Goldie Hawn, Charles Grodin. And we have still in the shrink wrap. And not a lot of pressure on the on the spine of the disc. So Alice's Restaurant, not unless somebody decided to rewrap it after the fact. I really can't tell. But I'll put that down there. And then next, excited to watch this. For those of you who are Walmart shoppers, in the $5 DVD bargain bin, they've had the 2-for-1 Fletch special. That's actually kind of cute to meet the only guy who changes his identity more often than his underwear. That was a good movie. Two-disc part, or two-part disc. Bridge Too Far, with actually star-studded, I think. Although I'm not familiar with Dirk Bogarde, but there's James Caan, Michael Caine, Sean Connery, Edward Fox, Elliot Gould, Gene Hackman, Anthony Hopkins, Hardy Kruger, who I'm also not familiar with, but Laurence Olivier, Ryan O'Neal, Robert Redford, and Maximilian Schell. So that must be a great film. Next we have part 1 and 2 of Al Pacino in Serpico. Ooh. Oh. So one of the things that I asked for, even though the box is in a little bit rough shape, the discs inside Holocaust are still in a shrink wrap. And the book and the paper are in mint, absolute mint condition. But just to go through, like I said, disc 1, and the labels are all the same for the front, other than the color is different. Like disc 1, it's like a dark purple, and disc 2, it's a different color. But each disc has a different background and a different story to talk about what that particular disc was going to cover. And nope, I was kind of mistaken. So the backgrounds of the labels, it's the same scene of the people getting loaded into the cattle cars, but the story or the synopsis of the disc is different on each side. So just gonna go through. Unbelievable that these are in such great shape. And I don't know if I ripped the box trying to take it out, but the container box is actually in really good shape. We'll tape it up later, find some good painter's tape. I use painter's tape only because you can leave it for a while and the residue does not become a problem. And then the last one, which I would say not as good as Holocaust, but still does come with the box, is Jesus of Nazareth, the 4 discs, you know, part 1, The Promise. 2, The Ministry. 3, The Journey. I might have watched this once as an adolescent growing up because my aunt happened to be watching it. She had it. So the cover box is a little rough for wear, but nothing that some painter's tape around the corners won't fix. And that is the end of that box. So we'll open up the second box. One of the cats is lying on their back with their feet up underneath the other box here, or the open box. Don't buy, if you have cats, don't buy them any expensive toys. Just get them a couple of boxes. And so this one I know is highly sought after by collectors, and it looks to be in really good shape. Is Michael J. Fox as Teen Wolf. So no, we've got both of these. We have him in Teen Wolf now, and we also have him in Back to the Future. This one is in shrink wrap. It looks to be the 1938 edition of King Kong RKO Pictures. And let me grab both discs out of here, because this is a 2-disc set of Marlon Brando, Robert Duvall, Martin Sheen in Apocalypse Now. Yeah, I'll show you the back of that one. And the front. William Wyler's The Collector. Of course, who's Terrence Stamp? Okay, real young in this movie, along with Samantha Eggar. Timothy Hutton in Turk 182. Porky's Revenge. So I believe this is essentially Porky's 3. Still in the shrink wrap. Fire and Ice. Will Stereo. Looking for some voices who did the voiceovers, but don't happen to see any of those. Alfred Hitchcock, Dial M for Murder. When a Stranger Calls. And Dom DeLuise, Suzanne Plachette, and Jerry Reed, co-starring Ozzie Davis. Miss him too. Hot Stuff. And the last discs from this box, because we don't have this in the library. We only have like one of the 2 discs. But so now that we have both, Mel Gibson and Anthony Hopkins in The Bounty. Yeah. So there we go there. Just need to shuffle some of these in a different position so that we can open this last box here, which I don't think I'm going to be able to do. Just bear with me a moment and we'll get these discs shuffled around. And then we can, there we go. Open up the 3rd box. That noise you just heard, one of the old bosses, friend of mine a week ago. It's a toy cricket that the cats play with. They go absolutely nuts over it. So let's get this last box opened up here. And then we have to have the fun, do the fun of putting away and recycling all this material. All right. Who do we have? Tim Conway as the $1 billion hobo. Sterling Hayden, Klaus Kinski, Sarah Miles, Nicole Williamson, in Venom. And 2-disc set, Rogers and Hammerstein. Yul Brynner. The King and I. Followed by Michael Keaton in Johnny Dangerously. And in the shrink wrap, The Undersea World of Jacques Cousteau, Volume 1, Sharks and the Singing Whale. Although the wrap seems to be breaking away from that. And then we have Visiting Hours, William Shatner and Michael Ironside. Well, that certainly, as a Star Trek fan, will be one to watch. This one here you don't see on online very often, but The Devil and Daniel Mouse and Tales of Fantasy and Science Fiction. We have, I think I watched this one on streaming. Stars Roger Moore, Richard Burton, Richard Harris, and Hardy Kruger. The Wild Geese, both parts 1 and 2. And the cats are up here wondering what the hell I'm doing. And then Brian Brown. Loved him in FX, but we have him in Breaker Morant. Embassy release, white disc, although I don't remember ever seeing an Embassy release on stereo. And then next we have Jeff Goldblum, Joe Bologna, Ed Begley Jr. in Transylvania 5000. Then we have Ida Lupino with Humphrey Bogart and High Sierra. Betty Davis and Paul Henreid. Now Voyageur. Another one that does not come up often online is, of course, Charles Bronson in Death Wish 3. Wow, Christy Nichols. Remember her from Empty Nest, along with Richard Mulligan in the Pirate movie. And this one I'm pulling out now, I do want to watch because I'm a big Raoul. I don't know if it's Julia or Julia, but Kiss of the Spider Woman. 1985, Cannes Film Festival. Then after that, looks like Val Kilmer. Yep, Val Kilmer in Real Genius. I often think it would have been really cool if Top Gun would have made it on the CED, but too little too late. We've only got a couple of discs left. We have Tom Selleck and Kirstie Alley, Stan Shaw in Runaway. And two more. Still in the shrink wrap, although the shrink wrap is starting to come off. Blake Edwards, SOB. And actually, my bad. It is a two disc part. So disc 1, disc 2. And then the last disc, starring Michael Caine and Angie Dickinson and Nancy Allen in Dressed to Kill. And that's it for this really big mail call. There was actually quite a few discs that we added to the library over the course of last weekend. I believe now that the collection has all of the discs that were released for Playboy, along with some other movies. Since wasn't able to label them, might be able to do a video this weekend as we're checking the discs out and getting the accession labels on them. If you do like this kind of content, although I do admit we haven't done any computer content in quite a while, consider subscribing to the channel. If you like seeing what goodies come in boxes, consider subscribing to the channel and give us a thumbs up. Consider joining the Patreon because we're looking at preserving unique technology and the media that is made for it as long as we possibly can. So thank you again for watching and see you in the next video.